Hi, my name is Chris Myers-Ash, and I'm with the Capital Area New Mainers Project in Augusta. I'm here to teach you a little about Maine's immigration history. As an immigrant to Maine, you are part of a long and rich history, and it's important to know a bit about the people who came before you. Now, I'm going to share my screen so that we can see images of some of the people who were here before us. Compared to the rest of America, Maine does not have a very diverse population. In fact, the latest census figures show that Maine is still the whitest state in the country. More than 90% of Maine's population is European American. But that percentage has been decreasing in recent years. Maine is becoming more diverse as immigrants from all over the world come to Maine to settle here. Now, we must remember the first peoples of Maine. For thousands of years, the tribes of the Wabanaki Confederacy have lived and thrived in Maine. Today, there are 4 federally recognized tribes that are part of the Wabanaki Confederacy. They live mostly in northern and eastern Maine, but tribal members live all across the state. They were here first, and as Reza Jalali says, unless you are a Wabanaki, you too are an immigrant to Maine. The first European immigrants to what we now call Maine arrived in the 1600s and 1700s. French farmers and traders built trading posts in northern Maine, and they traded furs and other goods with local Native American tribes. English settlers established fishing settlements right along the coast. For many decades, the English and the French battled for control of North America, including Maine. After England won the 7 Years' War in 1763, the French left, but French settlements remained. America gained its independence after the American Revolution, which lasted from 1776 to 1783. In the early and mid-1800s, many Irish immigrants arrived in Maine. Irish men worked in factories, construction, and on the Portland docks, and Irish women often worked in the homes of wealthy people as domestics and taking care of children. The Irish built schools and churches and other community institutions. Now, many American-born Mainers did not like the new immigrants. They believed that the new immigrants were stealing their jobs, that they were bringing crime, that they practiced what they called a dirty religion because the Irish immigrants were Catholic and the Mainers were Protestant. In the 1840s, many American-born people joined what they called the American Party, which opposed immigration and attacked Irish Catholics. In Maine, mobs attacked priests and burned churches in Bath and Lewiston. But the immigrants kept coming. In the late 1800s, the Maine economy boomed. Lumber yards and textile mills attracted thousands of immigrant workers, especially from Quebec in French Canada. Other immigrants settled in Maine as well. Italians and Finns worked in granite and slate industries. Chinese immigrants opened laundries and restaurants and other small businesses. Jews became merchants, often traveling around the state, selling their goods. Lebanese workers settled in Waterville and worked in the mills. In some towns, like in Biddeford, more than half the population was foreign-born. The largest group of immigrants, by far, were the French Canadians. Like the Irish before them, the French Canadians were Catholic. They also spoke French at home and in church. And French Canadians faced a lot of discrimination because of their religion and their language. But they settled and created what they called Little Canada neighborhoods in mill towns all across the state. Over time, resistance to their presence decreased as the French Canadians adapted to American ways of life, including by speaking English. In the late 1900s, Maine suffered from a weak economy. Many lumber yards and textile mills closed down. There were not as many jobs in the state as there had been before. So not many immigrants chose to move to Maine. But in the early 2000s, thousands of refugees from Somalia came to Maine after first being placed in other US cities. Most of them settled in Lewiston. Like the Irish and the French Canadians before them, they built businesses and community institutions to support themselves. In the past 20 years, other immigrants groups also have settled in Maine. In the early 2000s, more and more Mexican farm workers began to set down roots in down East Maine, especially in the town of Millbridge. Many of these immigrants worked at blueberry farms and in the seafood industry. In the 2010s, Iraqi and Syrian families began to move into the Augusta area. By 2020, there were about 400 Middle Eastern Muslims living in central Maine. Maine's largest city, Portland, has the state's most diverse population, as immigrants from all over the world have settled and thrived there, making it one of the most diverse cities in all of New England. Maine is now home to tens of thousands of immigrants and refugees such as you. You and other new Mainers are part of a long tradition of immigrants to the state. We welcome you to Maine and wish you the best of luck as you create a new life here.